see what the hell happened. Okay.
Hey,
I got the normal message.
Yeah,
All right.
I did too.
Got it.
Mr. Copeland,
All
take it
right.
away.
All right,
Oh,
I'm going to, just in case, I'm going to get out a little notepad here so I can take down the critical information. So we watched Bread, which was a, let's see, let me pull things up. It's a
that seems
13-year.
it seems so last year.
Yeah. Well, we're prone to watch stuff that's not immediately current. I mean, it is a 2010 comedy, and I didn't realize when I was recommending it, but it was based on a DC comic limited series. And a gentleman named Robert Schwentke directed it, and it was written by John and Erich Hoeber, and has a good cast with Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, John Malkovich, Helen Mirren, Karl Urban, Mary-Louise Parker, and I found Brian Cox and Richard Dreyfuss and even Ernest Borgnine pretty interesting in there. I proposed this movie because I thought we're in the holiday season and we deserve to watch something that's pretty light, and it is pretty light. I think that Roger Ebert rated this like a 2/4 because he thought it didn't have a lot of substance to it, and they didn't really run with the opportunities that they had. But I thought the plot was ludicrous, and it was kind of a typical one of those movies where people are chasing around and shooting at each other. I kind of suspected that Terry wouldn't show up tonight because there was certainly gratuitous gun violence in there, but it was almost part of the comedy. I particularly like the scene where the old lady jumps out from behind the storage container with her rocket launcher, and John Malkovich shoots directly into the rocket and blows her up. What a great scene. Hold my ass.
You're such a romantic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He was, he was originally not cast for that part. It was the Riley guy that has been with Will Ferrell in some of his movies.
Yeah.
And
John C. Riley.
John C. Riley, and he decided he didn't want to do it, so they happily recruited Malkovich, who's just a great maniac, paranoid guy. I thought he was perfect for that part, and it made me laugh over and over again doing the things that he did, like this scene right behind me. I'm going to get the pig, and he carries the pig around. It's got that enormous gun in it. So,
Pete, let Terry in.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
I just did.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
Hey,
he is.
hey,
Hi.
Terry. Can you hear us?
Happy New Year, Terry.
I think
Earth
he's
to
on here.
Terry. Earth to Terry.
And we're out.
Or moon to Terry, perhaps.
His power's out too. Okay.
Well, anyway, can you hear us, Terry? Not yet. It's odd that I just spoken his name in vain, and then he shows up. So there you go.
We won't tell, and he
I'll
won't
tell.
watch
I'm
this,
going to
so
tell
it's
him.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he says he can't hear anything. Well,
Yeah. So economically, this movie, I think it cost about 90 million or something like that to do, which I can kind of imagine because of all the different scenes and things that they did. But it brought in around 199 million. Oh, I'm sorry. The budget was 58 to 60 million, and it brought in about $200 million. So it was a commercial success.
Hence Red 2.
Yeah, and they said that there was actually a third film in development in 2013, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
With the illness of Bruce Willis, which is sad. But anyway, this, I thought about you a little bit, Gary, during this. Does this have a trajectory from one place to another? And I guess there's a continuing story that goes on there, but I don't really think there was a lot of character development. I think that the characters got acquainted with each other. Mary-Louise Dreyfuss kind of got, she was afraid of Bruce Willis at first for obvious reasons, and then she progressively got more into it. And pretty soon she was well, hell yes, let's go, let's do this thing. So there was kind of some progress with her. I thought Brian Cox did a great job of being sort of the mysterious Russian guy that was romancing Helen Mirren's character, and she was amazing as a sharpshooter. Some of the critics said that they were delighted to see her with a machine gun, which I thought was kind of an interesting take. She is a very versatile actress. So I didn't have a lot of agenda to prove anything with this movie, but I felt like it was very entertaining, and I thought it might be interesting for people. So reactions?
Well, I think the character development and the arc is it's all in the history. What you learn about them from where they were to where they are. Now, you didn't get to see it in the movie, but you got to appreciate them because they were once where they were and now they're somewhere else. And because of that, they became, developed characters. It didn't happen, there could easily have been a prequel or multiple prequels to where these guys came from and where they ended up in this movie, and I didn't see the sequel where it went from there, but they obviously had interesting pasts that played into, this moment in time. So, but the 50 million budget, I suspect 30 million of it was spent on machine gun shells, because I've never seen a movie that spent more machine guns shells than this movie. I mean, it was just relentless. Every scene was like a barrage of machine guns.
And they blew up lots of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured 50 million was just for all the sets they blew up.
Yeah.
Pretty high powered cast too, so that probably consumed a fair amount of the budget.
Well, there's only 50 million. I mean, sometimes movie stars make 10, 20 on their own. They must have been taking points and saying, well, I'll take a roll of the dice on this one, and hopefully they all got well.
And they all showed up for the next one, except for Morgan Freeman, who got killed in this one.
Yeah. I think it probably was one of those movies that the actors liked to go to because it was funny and fun. They got to interact with each other in kind of in a sly and enjoyable way. I'm imagining that, but I think once in a while those guys probably like to get together for a movie that's fun to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of nice locations, not the Kansas City piece, but New Orleans and Europe and.
Right. A lot of it was shot in Toronto, I think.
Yeah.
And some in Kansas City.
Yeah. Some exteriors, I think.
Yeah.
And same in New Orleans. They just show the classic pieces.
I liked it. I thought it was, I didn't realize that it was a comic book, source from a comic book. I've seen this a couple times over the years. I thought it was a nice, light, funny action movie. Not a lot of weight to it, but enjoyable characters. I mean, it was not boring by any means.
I agree. It was short. It moved quickly. You didn't have to think about anything, and they didn't give you any background to really stumble over. So you just took it for what it was.
Anytime somebody from a call center is the protagonist of a movie, I'm all for it.
A pension center.
Jeff, it inspired me to watch John Wick #1 because I know there's 4 of those, and also I watched Jack Reacher, which was a what's his name?
The Tom Cruise one or the later
the Tom Cruise one, right? Just because I like the blow them up, shoot them up, and it was just kind of fun. So when I had some time, I said, oh, "What else can I find like this?" And I found those. So.
Yeah, it's more like Terry. Are you hearing us? Okay. I said earlier that I didn't expect you to come because of all the gratuitous gunfire on this movie, and I apologize if that was offensive, but I do think in some ways a movie like this uses the gunfire as fireworks rather than as actually acts of brutality and human hate. So I kind of take it on that term. Did you enjoy it? Did you watch it?
You know what? Right at the beginning, when the woman that was following was not following, and the bullet and the, I don't know, what is that? A rocket propelled grenade? Rocket? It looks like a Panzerfaust to me. That's when I shut it off. I mean, I found it totally boring, predictable, gratuitous violence. I can't think you guys are all a bunch of perverts for enjoying it. So there you go.
I think the boring, predictable part is what we all loved about it. There were,
yeah, why?
Didn't stretch us.
Come on, now you got to see the difference between that and a war movie, right?
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Not the same kind of shit.
Oh no,
right.
War movies, people are really getting shot, and
this was not Napoleon, no.
Well, I'm thinking more like, All Quiet on the Western Front or Midway 2019 or any number of war movies that, there's, I don't know, I don't see the entertainment value personally. Maybe I was just in a weird mood. I don't know, but
it's kind of like,
and I think it also it trivializes violence for younger watchers. I mean, it kind of turns violence into like, oh, okay, well, it's got to be taken. I'll just take my AR-16 and go to school and murder a bunch of people a day. Ha ha ha. Anyway, whatever. So
yeah.
So are you talking about you being in a bad mood now or for the past 2 years?
No, I'm in a good mood now.
Okay.
I get to be a critic.
Because he got the vent on his movie that he thinks sucks.
I'm just checking your pulse. That's all.
Well, I just say I was entertained. I don't know what the message was. I perhaps the goal was just to entertain an audience. I think they delivered. I mean, I don't think any of us really believe you can just break into the CIA. Let's start with that. I don't think anybody believes you can take a handgun and hit an incoming rocket propelled whatever the hell that thing is. I mean, it was a movie, but it was entertaining. You didn't have to do a lot of heavy lifting mentally. It was entertaining. I like to blow up stuff once in a while, but I mean, it was not gratuitous. It was almost buffoonish in a way, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. And
who knew the way to the Kremlin was through Papa John's?
You're in the second movie now. Don't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got him confused.
Well, I think anytime you think you can spark a romantic relationship with a girl at the other end of a call at a call center, it's automatically a fantasy. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This call is being recorded, sir. Oh, never mind. Would you like to take a 2-question survey when this call is over?
Well, first of all, the customer service person isn't talking to you from Kansas City. Let's start with that. Okay, probably not the continental United States. So,
right.
Anyway,
Jeff Arthur,
what'd you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of along with everyone else. I was entertained. It was enjoyable, and I'll probably look up Red 2 and see what that.
My wife wants to watch that after this call is over tonight.
And Mike Sanders, I was going to tell you, Amazon Prime has a new Reacher. It's a series.
Yeah,
I think it's in its 2nd or 3rd year right now. It's really entertaining too.
I saw that. I haven't delved into it, but I saw it was there.
Well, you talked about things that were similar and that you watched them. I watched The Man Who Killed Hitler and then Bigfoot after that. If it's Sam, if you haven't seen
it. Is that a series?
No, it's awesome.
That's a documentary, right?
Yeah. Wait, they killed Bigfoot?
Hitler killed Bigfoot.
In Argentina.
Sam Elliott killed him.
No, Bigfoot killed Hitler.
Ah. Comes full circle.
Yeah.
Chris?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
In the dark down there.
I just heard another transformer blow too. I don't know what's going on around here because all of our
Where are you?
Gladstone.
Moldavia.
Oh,
Chris, you're
Craig and Sherry live. You're neighbors with my friends.
Oh, really?
Is there power out in Gladstone?
Not entirely. I can look back behind me through the woods, and those folks have their lights on, and across the street, over the river and through the woods here, they have theirs. So
that
kinda
pisses you off.
localized.
Doesn't that piss you off when you don't have yours and the people across the street have their lights? That pisses
yeah,
big
it's
time.
like, what the hell?
Just run an extension cord over
There you
there.
go.
Yeah, that.
That wouldn't work, but I enjoyed the movie just because of the improbability of it all. I mean, it was just fun to see what their next trick was going to be. And then Mary-Louise and her little daddy complex there hooking up with Bruce. It's like, come on, honey, you can do a little bit better, but whatever works for you, whatever turns you on.
Wow, you read so much more into this than us.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, come on. No way.
Are they that far apart on age?
Anything.
Yeah.
Are they?
He's retired and she's still working at some social security office or something.
Well, she has some credit card debt she's trying to take care
of. That could be, but I got a kick out of one thing that Roger Ebert had to say. He said that it was neither a good movie nor a bad one. It features actors we like doing things we wish we were more interesting. So I guess the movie's moral is these old people are still tougher than the young ones. You want tough? I'll show you tough. In one scene, Helen Mirren is gut shot and a blood stain spreads on her white dress. In a closing scene, not a day later, she's perfectly chipper and has had time to send the dress out to the cleaners.
If you read Roger Ebert's review for Red 2, he actually saw that movie first.
Oh, did he really?
Did that review that you just talked about.
Oh, that was from Red 2? I didn't say that on there.
No, that's from Red, but he actually did Red 2's review first.
Okay,
didn't know saw it first, I guess. Or that the guy who
guys,
I don't think Ebert did it.
Did you like it better?
Guys, this is for Chris, but it's something you who live in power outage areas might be interested in. It's the Blue Eddy. Blue Eddy AC 180. It's got 4 AC outlets and 2 this thing will run your room for a day. So charge it up on the car, charge it up from the wall, charge it up with solar power. I have it in my van so I can cook and charge up my computer in my van. So
very cool.
Nice.
Advertising for Blue Eddy.
How do you charge it?
Well, you either plug it into the wall, charge it from your cigarette lighter in the car, or solar panels, which came with it. So
how long does it take to charge with the solar panels?
I don't know. I haven't
3
tried.
years.
I've been in the clouds for the last 2 weeks in Portland.
Okay.
So you'd get to the next campsite?
Yeah. So I got that so I can have a refrigerator in my van.
Oh yeah.
Keep my
the running
food
back
cold.
from the Chicago Bears? No, different refrigerator.
Wow, that goes back a bit.
Yeah, 85. Sorry.
85. Beat the Patriots.
He must be on the older side of what Chris was talking about.
Why would a movie
Parker,
reviewer watch the 2 before the 1? That seems like a critical mistake to me.
he gets them in the mail, and so that one came first. That's the only thing I can.
How was his review of it? What did he say about Red 2?
He said it was twice as good.
14-year-old kid.
Oh, there you go. No, I was going to say, whenever I see Mary-Louise Parker, I always think of Weeds. Anybody ever watch that series that used to be on years ago? It went for like 7 or 8 seasons. And she looks very unimposing and young and fragile or whatever, but she can be a killer, just like all these guys were too.
In Red 2, she does some really funny things where she finesses people they've captured without spoiling it too much. She she demonstrates that you don't always have to shoot somebody or torture them. You can squeeze the truth out of them with a little wine or something.
Don't tell.
Guys, I gotta bail. I will see you next Monday, but probably from somewhere other than here. I gotta run.
Have a good
Happy New
trip.
Year.
Take care. Happy,
Have fun, Gary. So that, I don't have anything else really to say. Anybody else have observations or comments about Red?
I'm going to watch the
enjoyed it.
sequel.
I just-
I'll tell you that. I am going to watch the sequel.
Okay, good.
I'm telling you, don't miss the man who killed Hitler and Bigfoot.
Hey, I have a question for Chris.
Yes,
You actually watched the whole movie Santa's Sleigh?
I did.
Wow.
I was going to pay $3.99. I wanted to see what was going to go
Got to get your
on.
money's worth. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, I did watch the whole thing. Oh boy, Pete. Oh my. Really?
I said just watch the opening scene, which Mr. Sanders just watched the opening scene, I think, unless you couldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
Mike.
No, it was very easy to turn off, but it was funny, I have to admit. I watched Bad Santa, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I watched Bad Santa and Bad Santa 2.
Oh, wow.
I know.
I've never made it to Bad Santa 2 yet. I still like the original.
Yeah, well.
And Die Hard is one of my favorite Christmas movies too. So I watched that one. Well, I just heard either a gunshot or a fireworks explosion. So I'm guessing Washington scored.
Yeah.
It just started.
Well, it's been going on for a while. It started at
I thought it was 7:30.
Well,
I
7:30.
think it started shortly after 7.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Are you sure it wasn't a transformer blowing?
Well, that could be. I'm supposed to get 40 to 50 mile an hour winds here in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we're getting that tomorrow. You're sending that junk down to us. We start getting snow today and we're going to end up, I don't know what, 5 to 10 inches before it's all done tomorrow afternoon with those winds. So thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Mike, it's not just Monday night in Washington, is it?
Tacoma.
Right. In Tacoma, yeah, it is. In Tacoma, it's still Friday afternoon. No, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, we're supposed to get what they call lowland snow later in the week. So
What does that mean?
I mean, well, the mountains, it snows all the time this time of year. But
Yes.
where I live, which is not in the mountains, I live in the lowlands. My altitude is about 200 feet or something like that. It's not
Oh, wow. Okay. I get it.
Mike, is it supposed to get really cold where you are later in the week?
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to like 20s, which we haven't really had at night yet. We've been getting by with 38, 42, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's going to get down in the teens where I am, at least they say.
There you go.
Here
So just north
I've
of
been
me.
busy winterizing everything.
Yeah.
Supposed to be down to -7 here next week.
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna be
in
in
the
the
we're heading into the obligatory Midwest cold snap.
Yeah.
Polar vortex.
Yeah.
All other movies anybody's watched? Recommendations?
I've watched a lot and I wrote them down, but I can't read my papers. So it's too dark.
I'll give you one. I watched The Creator, which is a movie on Hulu. It's a sci-fi epic about robots that try to take over the universe, and the it's humans versus robots. But what's kind of interesting about it is the AI really bad guy is a young girl who is a robot, but is a young girl, and she can do all kinds of crazy stuff. But they're trying to develop her, so they put her into the war scenes to try to see if she can hone her skills for them, for the robots. But I don't know. You guys might like it, you might not. It's got Allison Janney in it, and Ken Watanabe is the Japanese actor who often appears in American movies. But I thought it was well done. The CG on this is just incredible. I mean, you think you're in another world while you're there. Had a good time with that one. And then, like I was telling you, I did watch Maestro. Anybody catch Maestro?
Yeah.
Yep, I watched that too.
I'm interested in what everybody thought of that. I was a little disappointed. I thought the lady that played his wife, and I forget her name now. I thought she was better than him, actually better than Bradley Cooper. But what did you think, Chris?
I honestly had a hard time understanding him because his voice and his tone was so nasally that you couldn't understand half the words that he was saying. And I agree with you, Mike. I was not that impressed with Bradley Cooper at all.
I read a little bit about that, and he was given a prosthetic nose, and they also put plugs in it because apparently,
Bernstein
had this nasal thing, and he wanted to be so close to it that he could do it.
Yeah.
And so the special effects people were able to accomplish that, but I don't know how much it added to the movie, really. And then I don't know. I just maybe Cooper has been in a lot of big budget movies in the last 5 or 10 years, but he never seems to go all the way to me. I don't know. I don't find him to be Humphrey Bogart or, Robert Redford or whomever. He just doesn't seem to carry a whole movie by himself, which is what he kind of had to do here. And then what was the lady's name? She is a great actress. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I think if anybody gets an Academy Award out of that movie, it'll be her.
Yeah.
Carey Mulligan.
There you go. Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan, yeah.
Carey Mulligan.
I have a little trivia tidbit. I came across a video on a post on Facebook, and the guy's going, you know how in Terminator, when the humans are battling the robots and everything, he goes, the machines will never miss. Not only do they shoot where you are, they're going to shoot in all 6 directions that you might move. So they're not going to miss. There will be no contest between humans and AI killing machines.
Well,
I mean, that's what he said. I don't know about that.
Mike Sanders, did you see American Sniper with Bradley Cooper?
Way back when, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he carried that movie pretty well. In terms of what you were saying with Maestro, I thought he did a pretty respectable.
Well, maybe I was being too rough on him because of this movie.
What's that?
I said maybe I was being too rough on him. I guess I have seen him. I'm trying to think of the one he's in with. It's a bunch of folks around the. I think I'm going through the right movie here. That was the ab scam. Thing.
Right.
And Jennifer, what's her name, was in it, and some other folks, and he held his own pretty well in there. It was kind of an ensemble cast, though.
American Hustler.
There you go.
Hustle. Yeah.
Hustle.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm too rough on him, but I just I don't know. The anticipation and buildup was a little much for me. I guess maybe I fell for the buildup.
Mike, you're allowed to say this. This is the League of Unpaid Film Critics. You are allowed to.
Say whatever you want. Yeah. No, I watched the Golden Globes, and of course he was up for a Golden Globe, but didn't get it.
I loved him in Hangover.
Yeah. Now there you go. And when he was with all those guys in an ensemble group, he was great. He's tried a lot I think he's been working really hard on just winning best actor Oscar. And it seems, with some of these projects where he's involved and he's the executive producer and he's written it, whatever. He got a lot of pushback from the Jewish community over the prosthetic nose. And before I saw the movie, I saw that and I thought, why mess with that? I mean, he kind of looks like the guy anyway. To make his nose another inch longer and stuff it, I don't know why he went to so much effort to do that, but maybe
there's kind of a Jewish undertone in that movie too, where his dad said, I think he said, you got to change your name if you're going to be a conductor because nobody's going to ever want to listen to a Jewish conductor, right, or something like that. So in a way, that was kind of supportive of the Jewish community, and for them then to complain about his nose seems like kind of missing the point a little bit.
What else everybody watching?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I got around to watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I know that's last year's news. That was amazing.
Yeah, I think they won Best Picture last year.
Yeah, it won a lot of Oscars, and it's just simply awful. I didn't like it. I didn't get it. It's one of those I didn't get. So, Jeff, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did catch The Holdovers. That finally made it to the small screen, and I found that to be pretty good. And Paul Giamatti won Best Actor at the Golden Globes for that, which I thought was
oh, did he? It was very good. I enjoyed that as well. Yeah.
What won the best movies?
Oh boy, I don't know.
I think Barbie won. I think Barbie
won a bunch of
and
stuff.
then Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I know Cillian Murphy did, but I didn't know if Oppenheimer did or not.
Yeah,
I think Oppenheimer won Best Picture Drama, and Barbie won Best Box Office Performance. They've come up with a new title, which is for who made the most money. They call it
Eris,
special.
Eris has it this year.
Yeah. Oh man, Eris, the tour thing from Taylor Swift. Boy, she was not entertained by the comment from the host.
What was that?
Oh, he said something like, well, this is better in some ways than a football game because there are fewer shots of Taylor Swift. And she was tipping a glass right there, and she's like, got this sour look on her face, like,
what a terrible venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the comedian that was the host. After several people turned the job down, just got the gig in the last 2 weeks or so, and a lot of people thought he wasn't a very good stand-up routine.
No, he got panned pretty bad.
Deservedly so. He wasn't funny.
No.
Apparently, he had a mean streak to it too.
He kind of blamed the audience for this. Like, I only had this gig for 10 days, and don't be too hard on me because I'm, I didn't have time to prepare for this. Which there's some truth to that probably, but still.
If you're a professional, leave it at home.
And this is the first year, isn't it, that the Golden Globes was sponsored by the International Film Critics thing that has disbanded, was sponsored by a different group. So it was kind of a proving ground for the new group to see if the show would be very successful. I don't know how people have rated it at this point.
I didn't hear much about the show in general. I heard an awful lot about the comedian's monologue.
Yeah,
the show will always be around. They love to give themselves trophies.
Well, as long as they keep selling alcohol or offering alcohol at the venue, that's what everybody wants about.
Open bar.
In Hollywood, it's they don't let them drink at the Oscars until after they've gotten their Oscar, and they can do it backstage, but they can't do it
How does the LUFC get an invite to the Golden Globes? That's what I want to know.
You didn't get yours?
Yeah, really?
It's still being delivered by messenger.
By mule. It's on its way. It's EO. Remember the movie EO? He's bringing it, but we just have to wait till next year.
That guy who had Christmas vacations for Clark.
Yeah.
His invite.
I'm going to repeat a recommendation I made when we were last together. I'm watching Fargo season 5. John Hamm plays one of the most evil people you can possibly imagine, and it's such a contrast to Mad Men. It's a brilliant performance by him. And so you can't stream it because you got to wait week to week for the new episode to drop. My wife and I have gone back. We've now watched Fargo season 1 with Billy Bob Thornton, who is the epitome of evil in that, and 2 and 3. We've completed all those since we had a few weeks since we were last together there. But that and I love the movie Fargo, but that series is really sensational. It really is. So if you guys haven't checked out Fargo, there is some violence, full disclosure, but it's entertaining. It's on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, Pete, I've checked it out, and I love the point. I got through the first 5 episodes, and then it said the next episode will be out next week, and I'm like, God damn it!
Yeah.
So I would like to recommend another Hulu series, 11/22/63. Anyone ever hear of this? It's a Stephen King book. It's a Stephen King book in which he discovers a portal in time, and the guy who discovers the portal is Chris Cooper, actor, and he owns a place called Al's Diner. And when you go through this door in the back of his diner, you end up in 1960.
Isn't that the day after Kennedy?
Well,
11/22 is the day.
11/22 is the day. And so the idea is Al is dying from cancer, and he has been working on trying to kill Oswald. And he's become a Kennedy expert. And I just happened to be reading this book. My brother gave it to me for my birthday back in October. And so when I saw there was a series of it, I went, oh, great. And so I'm doing both. But I made it through that one all the way. It doesn't make you stop and wait till next week.
Is it one season, Mike?
One season.
Okay.
8 episodes.
All right. Okay.
And I thought it was really good. Of course, I was into the book and doing all that stuff too.
How is it to the book?
Oh, it's almost as if King wrote the screenplay. I mean, I'm trying to think of the guy. Franco, James Franco plays the guy that goes to try to kill Oswald. When you go back, it doesn't matter how long you stay. When you come back, only 2 minutes have gone by since you left to the people where you were. And that's some of the odd games that King has set up for how this portal works.
So you could get away saying, I just went to the bathroom.
Right, or whatever. He goes there, he buys a car, he buys new clothes so that he fits in with everybody. And then he starts researching, where is Oswald right now? And if his handler, Soviet Union's around. And then he actually, you'll have to watch the end of it, but he's at the school book suppository on that day, ready to kill him. So
there's already one hole in that story. What kind of money would he buy stuff with? Come on.
What kind of money they give him? Al.
I mean, they'd look at that dollar bill from how many years later and go, this is not our money now.
Maybe he wrote him a check.
Well, I was going to say that Al went over there. Al had the cheapest hamburgers in town, and he found a butcher in his portal that he liked his hamburger, and so he could sell hamburgers for $1.29 in 2016, which is when this came out. And everybody used to wonder if it was the local cat population or the dog population went up or down based on how many hamburgers he sold. But that was one of the ways. And then he sent Franco he said, go to this. He gave him a bunch of cash that he had brought back. And so he said, take all this cash, go to the bank, open a checking account, and then just write checks for everything. That way you know what you're doing. No one's going to question that. That's the time when everybody wrote checks. He said, get yourself a hat. Men wore hats, get you a nice suit. So he does all these things. And then he decides he checks it out by, he looks at the betting form, of a fight for the weekend. And he can tell that in the past, so-and-so has won this fight. So he goes to, a guy at a bar in this town where he's at and says, I'd like to place a bet on this. And he says, okay, who are you going to go for? And he tells him, and he says, well, the odds right now are 4-1. And he said, can I get the odds any higher? Franco says, and the guy says, yeah, pick the round. And he goes, okay, round 6. And of course, he's absolutely accurate. But then he gets beat up by the guys that run the little off-track betting ring, and they find out that somehow he knew what was going on. But I don't want to spoil too much of it for you. But I thought it was a lot of fun. It kept my interest every time. I was able to go back and watch each episode. I watched 3 or 4 at a time.
Then he went back a few years later and bought Microsoft stock.
No, but I would expect him to do that. Yeah.
He and Captain Dan own Apple.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of Captain Dan, I saw this on Facebook and I wanted to share it, but I didn't. I don't know why. But if you go to Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump, at 10 minutes, 38 minutes, or 10 hours, wait a minute, 10:38:57. Anyway, you go to a certain point in Forrest Gump and start it, and then you will have New Year's Eve with Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan.
Did send that out.
I did send that out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did anybody try that?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
forgot.
I take your word for it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't either. I just thought that was interesting and I couldn't help.
Hey, you didn't say the hookers were there.
I later saw like a Facebook meme where it was like, when you're at New Year's Eve all by yourself and you realize things aren't going that well, and it was just a shot of Lieutenant Dan sitting in his bar still drunk. But anyway, 11/22/63. I would highly recommend that. I thought it was great, and like I said, I'm also reading the book, so since I already know what's happened from the series, it'll make it easier to anticipate what's going up.
Did you say it's over now?
Yeah, I mean it's 8 episodes and they're all there. This came out in 2016.
Okay.
That's when the book came out. That's when this came out.
Gotcha.
So it's one of those things that's not so timely as the season 5 of Fargo that you have to wait for next week for a new.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like there's a couple of books about people going back and to that weekend and trying to make adjustments. It seems like I read one of them, God, years ago. Not the King one.
Yeah, no, it's fun. And then one of the things that Al, who is Chris Cooper, is telling Franco, when you push back on time will push back on you. The past will fuck you up. So be prepared for that. And that happens several times where he thinks all he's going to do is step in and step out, but then everything goes crazy on him. And time itself is kind of a character in the thing because you've got to be sly enough to beat time too.
Folks, we're 8 minutes before the top of the hour. Who's got the next pick?
It should be.
Are we in the M's?
Well, it would be Doyle, but she's gone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. Well, here I had a feeling that I was going to be up, so I've got one here. This is a 2018 movie called Vice, and it is loosely a bio of Dick Cheney.
Okay.
Huh.
And it's available all the regular places. It's DirecTV, Apple, Netflix, Google, YouTube, AMC Demand, on uh, Amazon. Oh, it's got Christian Bale in it, Amy Adams, and Steve Carell are the three leads.
All right. That's our pick.
Sounds good.
I'm not there next week. It's my pick next, so I will email. Peter, you running the show again?
I think I am for like the next 3 weeks because Bill is
Yeah.
going to be out of pocket for a
Yeah.
while. So
Where's Bill?
disregard the email I sent to all you about 6:45 tonight.
Yeah.
Now that I know what I'm dealing with.
No. Bill's in the Dry Tortugas and elsewhere in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Did you guys get my email? I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
on the road. Yeah. Okay. I'll email you before next week with a
Okay.
pick.
Fair enough.
All
Do
right.
you have any other side picks for tonight? Recommendations?
I
I'll
guess
take that as a
they all
no.
got watched because we were off for so long.
Yeah.
Red 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll check that out.
Retarded and,
Slay, though.
and extremely dumb.
Nicely done. Nicely done, Terry.
Chris,
Uh,
I hope you get warm and I hope you get some lights pretty soon.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
supposedly by midnight. So thank you.
If
Thank
not,
you.
there's a
Jackets and stuff.
there's a motel down the road. I'm sure that you can.
Well, not in Gladstone. She's going to have to drive a bit, but not too far.
Well,
Needs one of
Mike,
Terry's, needs one of
Mahoney,
Terry's battery packs.
yeah, the Blue Eddy. Mike
Yeah, there's a
Mahoney
little,
over on,
There's a little heater that you can plug into it too. Into the Blue Eddy. Just stick a little box heater onto it
that's
and
cool.
stay in your bedroom.
Yeah. Chris, what were you about to say?
There is a new Marriott over on North Oak, about 60, let me think about this, 72nd, about 70th and North Oak.
Oh,
Do you know
okay, yeah,
where the
you're right.
Summit Grill is?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I just drove by that last week. So
Yeah, so it's like 2 miles, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't have too far to go.
okay. I've got dinner waiting, everybody. Chris, I hope your lights come back on, folks.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank
see
you.
everybody next week.
All right. Mahoney,
Thanks,
call me on JAD as we've talked. Okay.
Okay.
When
All
you
right.
get out, give me a buzz.
I'm it, babe. See ya.
All right. All right, folks.
Take
I guess
care.
we're done.
Night,
See you next
everybody.
week.
Thanks.
All
Nice
right.
job.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks.